will sink back into the hideous epoch from which we escaped, and that the new dark age will be crueler, more sinister, and more protracted by the malice which we have awoken in our enemies. I call upon you, the people of the Republic, to stand united, to beseech your senators to reject fear, to reject this torpor of self-interest, to not quiver in primal trepidation at the thought of invasion, to not let your senators hoard your wealth for themselves and hide behind your ships of war, but to summon the more wrathful angels of their spirits and send forth the might of the Republic to scourge the engines of tyranny and oppression from the Mercurian sky and rescue our free legions. At that moment, 384,000 kilometers from my heart, in orbit 1,000 kilometers above the wayward continent of South Pacifica, projectiles skinned with Sun Industries' stealth polymer race into the void at 320,000 kilometers per hour toward Mercury, ferrying not death, but supplies, radiation medicine, machines of war, and, if my husband is alive, a message of hope. You have not been abandoned. I will come for you. Until then, endure, my love. Endure.
Prologue. 2 months earlier. Darrow. Blood red. A graveyard of Republic warships floats in the shadow of Mercury. Of the triumphant white fleet that liberated Luna, Earth, and Mars, nothing remains but twisted shards and blackened hollows. Shattered by the might of the Ash Armada, the broken ships spin in orbit around the planet they liberated only months before. No longer filled with Martian sailors and legionnaires loyal to Eo's dream, their cold halls are naked to vacuum and populated only by the dead. This is the last laugh of the Ash Lord and the debut of his heir. While I burned the old warlord to death in his bed on Venus with Apollonius and Sevro, his daughter, Atalantia, stepped out from his shadow to take up his office of dictator. She slipped the greater part of their armada away from Venus and used the sun's sensor-distorting radiation to ambush the White Fleet in orbit over Mercury. Orion, my fleet's commander, and the greatest naval tactician in the Republic, never saw them coming. It was a massacre, and I was 3 weeks too late to stop it. The frantic mayday calls of my friends tortured me as I crossed the void, slipping farther and farther away from my son and wife toward Bedlam. The White Fleet may be gone, but the free legions they ferried to Mercury are not dead yet. Soon I will join them on the surface of Mercury. But first, I have work to do. It would be easier with Sevro. Everything violent is. My breath rasps in my vacuum-proof suit as I traverse the graveyard. My magnetic boots land silently along the broken spine of a Republic dreadnought, and I peer into a great fissure in the hull to check on the progress of my Lancer. The wound in the hull is 30 decks deep. Jetsam floats in the darkness. Bits of metal, mattresses, coffee pots, frozen globes of machine fluid, and severed limbs. No sign of Alexander. The rigid corpse of a sailor in a mechanic's kit drifts upward feet first. His legs have been congealed into a single crooked stump from the heat of a particle blast. His mouth is locked in a silent scream, as if to ask, "Where were you when the enemy came? Where was the Reaper I swore to follow?" He was deceived by his enemies, by his allies, by himself. While the Republic Senate fooled itself into believing peace could be made with fascist warlords, I pretended killing the Ash Lord would end war in our time. That I held the key to unlocking a future where I could put down the sling blade and return to my child and wife to be a father and a husband. My desperation let me believe that lie. The Senate's naivete let them believe Atalantia's. But I know the truth now.